they need something that changes their soul, their mind. To change somebody's mind, the soul, and the heart, you need a little bit of science to make somebody appreciate. Most of us here already, we are already spreading the gospel. We are from the known, and we need those who do not appreciate this concept to understand it. So I think we need to see how to tweak that, but also to bring it from that angle that makes everyone out there to appreciate it. So for me, I want to conclude by saying I thank you all, each of you in your respective capacities, and I want to wish all of us a safe journeys back home, and let's continue the struggle as we strive every day. Thank you.
Wow, thank you, Madam Esther. Thank you once again. Mr. Sanya Jackson, hope you're ready. Please come in 5 minutes. Come and give us the call of action in 5 minutes if you are ready, because this is very, very important. Yeah, Jackson, I think, is one of the chief rapporteurs, so he's going to take us through what has happened here, and of course this information will inform the position paper. Over to you.
Thank you. I think let me hold this one. Thank you so much, colleagues. First of all, I want to appreciate you for enduring from the time we began up to the time we are concluding. However, I want to take you through just the general overview of the action points in brief, but we are going to give a detailed action points which we shall all work upon and inform the report. In terms of the 4 areas that we have been discussing, here we started with on data collection, data management, data collection and management, and as an action point, we are agreeing that we are going to integrate disability-specific questions into the census or the national census tools, so that we can now capture data when we are doing the national census and have all the data available. And we are giving a responsibility to you, boss. Then the other one is the data at ministry level. We are saying we have to collect data on teachers trained in special needs across the country, and then also to continue collecting data at national level for learners with disabilities. And then, and we are saying Ministry of Education, Special Needs Department to take that responsibility, but in collaboration with the district SNE officers and the DEOs and the COWs. And then we also need to develop a documentary of the best practices still on data, so that when we have to see the best practices that of inclusive education, then still to collect data from schools, we are going to strengthen that. That one is one of the action points, and the DEO, DIS to take charge. Then design a form for all schools to record the learners with disabilities. In brief, others we shall capture them in the general document. Then in area 2, sorry, before I go that, but we are members have agreed we shall engage in various university research to have disability data. So, like others have said, our professors, we need to develop this research agenda to have universities come up with the data on disability inclusion. Then disaggregating data, disability data, we have talked about, we shall finally give in the report. Then teaching and learning, to make, we have agreed we need to make special needs a standalone course unit for teachers. That could be at the university level, and now even UNITE, since it's developing its programs, to be approved at the National Council as a state standalone. Then still make, we need to train teachers at school level to identify and assess learners with special needs. we heard that a national identification tool was developed. Also confirmed, there is also a tool, but what is required is now strengthening training to see how this one can be used. Then make the curriculum inclusive. We have seen members quoting on those various areas which are not inclusive for the curriculum. And then the other item is we have agreed that we need to put in place some funding for transcribing, and this is coming as a result of speeding up the domestication of the Marrakesh Treaty, rather that we can have permission to get those materials into the accessible format. The other element is the early identification, assessment, and placement. Number 3, that we need to re-establish education assessment and resource centers, meaning we have to revamp them so that we make them active at regional levels. Now that we have only KCCA and Kivu Blue, we have one, but other regions we do not have. And then empower the teachers to identify learners as they enroll them into the schools. I think all of us, the head teachers, to take charge at the point of registering students and learners into the schools at the beginning of the term. Need to do this so that we can gather this data. Then disseminate the learning national identification tool, which was developed, the ministry and the whatever. The support of UNICEF, support of USDC, and then support of other partners. The tool is there. To make it known and then train the teachers on how to use it. Then under reasonable accommodation, we have captured a number of things as you will see them in the general document, but one of them we are saying we need to follow the Construction Control Code of 2019 when constructing school facilities which are coming on board, but also to continue adapting the schools which were constructed earlier to make them accessible. Then also to make more sensitization to the public, at least to come to know the concept of reasonable accommodation, so that we don't just talk about it and it ends there. Then other colleagues have said that we need to develop guidelines on reasonable accommodation. That one is captured. But also the other one is not under this, but we have captured it, that to make also schools under KCCA to start receiving or to be part of those benefiting from subvention grants. Members say that one. So with all those that I've mentioned and others which we shall now give, allow me end there. Thank you for God and my country.
Thank you, Senator Jackson. Yes, that is the work of the preparatory team. I hope they have captured salient points, and at an important time, they will give us the detailed report. There are people who are asking for presentations. How can we access the presentations? There is a lady called Madame Florence. She's right there. Madame Florence, kindly stand up. Yes, please, you can share your email with her, then we'll be able to get that information. I know you registered, but there are those who may not be interested. You know, there are so many acts, there are so many laws around, so you may send someone an email, why have you sent it to me, quote. So please go and confirm. Ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank you very much for your participation, both physical and online. From the time we started, we can't thank you enough. We want to thank our sign language interpreters for a job well done. Please, let's appreciate them. Thank you, thank you. When you hear a clap, you know those people have issues with sign language communication. Thank you very much. Dear participants, The presenters, thank you very much. Social media influencers, thank you. This social media, of course, has now taken it to another level, and I hope the media, you are going to publish and, of course, inform the public what has taken place here. And we expect you to do the best of your best. Ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, allow me at this point in time invite our formidable commissioner, Madam Sarah Abgosi, who is the Commissioner of Special Needs Education, to come and give the closing remarks. And thereafter, I'll invite once again our beloved sister Goretti to give us the closing prayer, and thereafter
again wanted to sincerely thank you on my behalf and on behalf of the Ministry of Education and Sports for your coming, and above all that, for actively participating in the dialogue. And I want to say that by the end of it, we have come up with a call of action, which we are going to take on seriously as Ministry of Education and Sports to ensure that we improve on the provisions of education to children with disabilities. On the same note, I also want to thank UNESCO ICBA and UNICEF SRO, without forgetting Esther, Rosemary, Nabendra, Dr. Munir, and others for making this day a success. We cannot go without mentioning you again for the resources, the logistics you have provided, and above all, the time you have put in to ensure that this dialogue is a success. You have also been here from morning to evening. That really shows the importance you have put to this dialogue. And I want to say we won't let down one another. We shall continue to work in that direction so that learners with disabilities benefit in the education system. I don't want to take a lot of your time. You have already sat for too long. We have picked lessons from one another. I want to end by saying that in our different constituencies, we have people that we take care of. Let the information start flowing as we get out of this room. Let us not wait for funding. Let us not wait for any other person to tell us, but with the information, the knowledge that we have got here today, the journey starts. Let us do the little things we can do in our own way. Let us advise where we can advise. Let us go out aggressively to ensure that we mobilize learners with the special needs. They come into school. We provide what we can provide. They participate, progress, and we see many of them transiting to secondary and tertiary institutions because they have the capability to do it, but it's only that the environment has not supported them fully. Lastly, I also want to thank my team from Ministry of Education and Sports. First of all, specifically from the Department of Special Needs and Inclusive Education. All of us have been running up and down to see that this takes place. Without forgetting my colleagues from other departments, thank you so much for being here with us from morning to this time. We cannot take it for granted. And as you're all aware, at Ministry of Education, we always have so many activities taking place. So for them to leave those other activities and come and be with us here from morning to now, we don't take that for granted. The media, thank you so much. Audrey, Nina, you have done a great job. We have disturbed you even beyond your working time. In the night, we have always called you to give updates, to ask you to participate the next day. in the meetings to ensure that this day is a success. Thank you to our facilitators. Thank you so much. And we have each time we have always called upon you. You have never let us down. And I want to say that we are so thankful. With those remarks, let me end at this. And the development partners, Yahoko, you know Yahoko has always been there for us. Thank you. Thank you all the development partners. I may not mention each of you, the organizations of persons with disabilities. We want to thank you and everyone for your input into this dialogue. I end here and closed. I say this for God and my country.
Wow, thank you, thank
Madam
you.
Sarah, where are you for logistics? Are you
Madam
ready?
Sarah.
I can add? Okay, I think she's out. Now, ladies and gentlemen, for logistics, in our communication, we indicated that people coming from the districts will receive fuel, and we are going to add 1 night allowance per diem. That is 175 at UNICEF rate, because they're the ones who have supported us in that area. Now, for people around, Julie, I know Julie can transport herself and many others, Nodipo and others, like we have always done. Organizations will transport themselves, but we also have a few that we are going to give some small transport refund. People from around, I can see Esther looking at me. Am I going wrong? No. Of about 30,000. So what we have right now is fuel, because we know you put in fuel to come and you need fuel to return you. So you will go to that, Madam Florence, raise your hand. You go to Madam Florence, we are giving fuel for 1 vehicle. You go pick fuel. We have your telephone contacts. Maybe by Wednesday of next week, you should have received your per diem. Yes? Yes, we are so sorry. We have been running around to ensure that this money comes in time, but because of 1 or 2, 3 things, and like I said, we have so many activities, we have audit, so many things taking place. So the process didn't go quick as fast as we expected. But by Wednesday, and still the same person will handle that other bit of it. Thank you so much. Now my team, they said we take a picture. Those from Ministry of Education, we shall take a picture here after.